In this video, we're going to show you how to install the fuel transfer unit on your Ford Taurus, located under the rear seat. Now we're starting here in the back seat area on the passenger side. You're going to go ahead and grab this little loop here and pull the back seat down. Now there's a trim panel right here. I'm going to use my trim tool. I'm going to go ahead and pop this button out right here. And then go ahead and pull this cover off to the side. Now right here is a component you want to go ahead and get to. Want to press down on this little tab and want to go ahead and disconnect that connector. With that disconnected, we're now going to hop into the vehicle, start it up, and let it run until it dies. At this point here, the vehicle has died out. We have depressurized the fuel system on the vehicle. Let's go ahead and get into it. Go ahead and locate your ground terminal on your battery using a 10mm socket. We want to go ahead and loosen this nut right here. Loosen that and pull it off and set it aside. Now in the lower portion of the back seat, you're going to reach underneath the front here, and there's going to be a little tab here. You're going to be able to move that. You're going to put your finger beside it, and you're going to move it towards the driver's side of the vehicle, and it is a release. I'm going to push this over, lift up on the seat, and that will undo this tab here from the locking mechanism. We're going to go ahead and repeat this process for the driver's side. Lift up. With the front of the seats unlocked, we're going to go ahead in the back section here, and we need to push it in and then lift up on it. I'm going to do the same on the driver's side here. And what we're doing is there is a hook down here that actually engages with a metal loop on the bottom of the seat here, so it actually locks in. Once you have those two hooks undone there in the back, go ahead and remove that seat bottom and remove it from the vehicle. On the driver's side of the vehicle, you're going to locate this rubber boot here. We want to go ahead and pull this up. Now, one thing you want to take note of is if there's a bunch of debris and stuff back here, you want to go ahead and vacuum that up. You want this to be as clean as possible before you start working. I'm going to go ahead and take a plastic trim tool, just underneath the lip here. I'm going to go ahead and pop this up and off. If you want to make it a little bit easier, just push this rubber grommet through. And then if you follow the wire, there's a connector right here. I'm going to push down on this tab and disconnect that. And go ahead and just pop that cap off and set it aside. And next thing we're going to do is on this side here, there's a little tab you want to press in on. And when you push it in, you're going to lift up on the connector. And set that aside. Now on the inside here, you're probably going to have a bunch of debris. You can either use compressed air, blow it out, or use your vacuum and clean it up. Let's go ahead and take care of that there. So we started by vacuuming ours and quickly found out that the vacuum was not cleaning up what needed to be cleaned. So we are using some spray solvent. We're going to clean this up, and then we're going to use our rags and compressed air to clean this. The trick here is that you don't want to have dirt and debris fall down inside the tank when you pull this apart. Now I'm going to use compressed air, wearing safety glasses and a towel here, or a rag. This is all clean of any debris. We're ready to go ahead and undo that lock ring. Now we went ahead and sprayed down our lock ring with some rust penetrant. Now I'm going to use a brass punch, and right where the lock tabs are, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of tap this. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to help break up some of that rust that's holding that lock ring in place. Now when doing this here, make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area before you go ahead and lift up that unit. Currently it's still sealed because there's a rubber O-ring on the inside, and that transfer pump unit is still nestled in there. But make sure you're working in a ventilated area, whether it's using a fan, open up the garage door, whatever you got to do. Remove our lock ring, set this aside. Wipe down around the perimeter here. Our next step is to go ahead and pull this up and out, but you want to make sure you don't drop any debris down inside that tank. So clean up the best you can. Now you are going to want a container, some sort of catch can to go ahead and have on the side. And you definitely want to have some rags ready to go, because when you lift this up, you are going to drip fuel and you don't want to get this on the carpet. Now as you peel this up, it is spring loaded. It's going to push up. Pay attention to the tab here. This tab needs to go to a designated spot. So now we're going to lift this up. Now as we come up, there is going to be this connector right here. We need to disconnect this little retainer clip and pull this hose off. So how do we do that? You're going to reach underneath and push inward like this. You're going to pinch your 2 fingers on the bottom. And when you do that, you're going to push it up. And there it is. You can see that clip pop right up there. Now you're going to pull the fuel line off. Make sure that clip is all the way up, otherwise it's not going to come off for you. All right, and you can just let it drop inside the tank. It's not going to disappear on you. Tilt this up at an angle and pull your float out like this and put that into your container. Remove the O-ring. Be careful when doing this. Be careful not to drop debris into the tank. Put that into your container. Now at this point, we want to go ahead and carefully wipe out where the O-ring was seating. I'm going to put my hand on the inside of the tank here to catch any debris that might be falling. Now this does play a critical role, because when we install the new O-ring, you want to make sure that it has a good sealing surface. You don't want to have debris in there causing a poor seal. Go ahead and place the O-ring right in the groove. Now that we have the O-ring in place, I'm going to go ahead and reach down into the tank and pull the line up. Make sure that that locking clip is all the way up. Now this part right here is a little bit tricky. When installing this here, you want to be sure that you don't force this float up against the rheostat here. You can damage this. So what we're going to do is we're going to tilt this down, get that float inside the tank, push our fuel line down in, and we need to install that onto the transfer pump port. Push it all the way in and on. Once that's seated, you want to push down on the lock clip. Lower this down in a position. Now it is spring loaded, so you want to make sure that the tab itself lines up with the original spot. I'm just making sure there's no debris where that tab is supposed to go. And if you look down on the inside here, you'll be able to see that there's a little arrow on the plastic pointing inward. That's basically the little arrow on the tank itself. It's going to be pointing where this tab needs to line up. Push that down into place. Go ahead and grab your lock ring. Set that down into place. Now at this point, we're not worried about any more fuel spillage, so we can remove these here. Go ahead and grab that lock ring tool. And we want to now go ahead and lock this into place. All right. You can see that the lock tab is locked in all the way. You want to make sure that your connector area is clean. Use some compressed air or something like that to clean out the inside there. We're just going to give it a quick blast of solvent here. Go ahead and install the connector on the top. You can hear it and feel it lock into place. Go ahead and feed that connector through the boot. Right where this arrow is on the cover, there's a little notch right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the tail end in, line this up, and just press that down gently, like so. Install the connector here. Make sure you hear and feel it engage. Now when doing a job like this here, it is highly recommended to go ahead and do the fuel pump, which is behind the passenger seat. If you need to just do this, well, at this point here, you can go ahead and install the back seat, and then you're all set. But you want to go ahead and do both of these at the same time. Let's go ahead and install the seat. You do want to make sure that your seat belts come up through the notches. Then we have to push down on the back and in. And then on the front side, you're going to make sure that the tab itself goes down inside. Here is that hook. So you want to make sure that this fits down inside there. And you push down. And make sure that's secure. And that is, we're going to go ahead and repeat this process for the driver's side. Push it back and down. You want to go ahead and get that lower tab inserted and push down. Give it a little tug, and that is secured. Good. Pull down on that seat. Let's go and install that connector. You can hear that click. And then we want to pull the trim panel out. And then don't forget to install that little plastic button. You can now flip up that back seat, grab that ground terminal, slide that over. Make sure that's twisted all the way down. Go ahead and snug this down. Now I'm using a hand ratchet. You don't want to over tighten these here. Using power tools is going to be easier to do that. So snug that down and then give that a twist. Make sure that's good and secure. You want to go ahead and start up the car and go for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.